hellish roads, we understand, often are paved with good intentions. When column founder Paul Dorpat emailed me a list of easy dozen column topics nearly a decade ago, featuring this week's spectacular then photo, he certainly meant well. It would be child's play to repeat, he insisted. Taking up Dorpat's challenge, we enlisted the aid of the Newcastle Historical Society. Turns out the path to the May Creek Trestle was one less taken. Wielding machetes and loppers, we bushwhacked along the overgrown rail bed, traversing the steep southern shoulder of May Valley between Renton and Newcastle, east of I-405. We clambered over decades of refuse, from ancient washing machines to rusted motorcycles and automobiles, tossed from above into the ravine, muscling towards the former Trestle site. A dizzying 150 feet below flowed May Creek, a Lake Washington tributary, wandering a steep canyon floor that was scooped out 10,000 years ago by the receding Vashon Glacier. Directly east lay vast coal deposits, first mined in 1863. Transport from Newcastle took days, employing tramways, wagons, and barges, loaded and unloaded up to 11 times before reaching Elliott Bay coal bunkers. Most mining profits were devoured by the cost of portage. But by the late 1870s, steam clouds of change filled the air. Extending the audaciously named Seattle and Walla Walla Railroad, which never ran beyond King County, would let coal be loaded directly onto train cars from the Newcastle coalface, slicing transport to mere hours. Gullies were filled, hills leveled, and 18 narrow-gauge timber trestles constructed. Spanning May Creek Valley was a trestle 126 feet tall and 1,070 feet long. At the time, it was hailed the largest in the territory. The venture soon paid off. During its first year, exports of Newcastle coal substantially increased, enough to make the 21-mile-long S&WW the country's most profitable railroad. By 1897, a New York firm, the Pacific Coast Co., assumed ownership, replacing 20-year-old narrow-gauge tracks with more robust standard gauge. Contemporary observers, however, still noted the unnerving sway of the trestle beneath coal-laden cars. It would shake the nerves of the stoutest hearts when they see what is expected to uphold a train in motion, reported one anxious journalist. In 1937, the rickety trestle was dismantled, having outlived the shuttered coal mines by nearly a decade. Today, the once ubiquitous rails are absent from Newcastle, but not the ghosts of hard labor. In our first then photo, this 1897 portrait shows the side-by-side conversion from the narrow-gauge trestle on the left to a modern standard-gauge track under construction. Keen eyes will note 14 workers perched around the unfinished timber frame. Today, nothing remains of either trestle. For more of this intriguing story, we recommend The Coals of Newcastle, 100 Years of Hidden History, published by the Newcastle Historical Society. In our second then photo, snapped in 1932, this portrait of 5 berry-picking boys taking a shortcut across the disused trestle conveys bravado and danger. Dismantled in 1937, trestle timber was used in construction of Grand Coulee Dam on the Columbia River. In our first now photo, a few intrepid members of the Newcastle Historical Society gamely mimic the timber frame of the May Creek Trestle, just below its original railbed. From left, Peggy Price, Robert Boyd, Steve Williams, Kai Dalton, Harry Dersch, and Kent Sullivan pose above the steep ravine. In our second now photo, on the valley floor, Kai Dalton perches atop an old-growth stump a few feet from May Creek, reduced to a midsummer trickle. Below him stand Peggy Price and Harry Dersch. Price estimated the stump's diameter at 35 feet. In our third now photo, the rusted hulk of an ancient automobile toppled into the canyon in the last century now disappears into the ferns.
And
so it was recently removed when the
so, and then we ended up doing maybe a column or two a year, which features something about Lehigh.
Yeah.
But it's also because we're on edge.